when Adam went to God and started whining, talking about, oh God, you sent me this woman and now she got me moving sour, and why'd you know what I'm saying? It automatically caused a separation between man and woman. On a subconscious level, us as men already feel like women are out to get us. Women are out to get us. No one's ever asked, like, who wrote that story?
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. We've all been duped. We've all been duped. Why relationships threaten society, right? Now, before we go in, let me state my position, man, because my position at this point is still the same, right? Like, I still believe that 95% of the female population right now is not worth a man pursuing in a serious manner. In other words, a man shouldn't be pursuing the 95% of women the long way toward marriage or toward some long-term relationship, right? I also believe that at least 75-80% of people that are married shouldn't be. Now, the reason I believe that is because, one, I don't believe that people are true to the game when it comes to, till death do us part. Divorce is so easy right now, and people go into relationships with an escape plan, right? That's one. And two, it still bothers me, right, that people think that just because some judge signed some piece of paper or stamped some sheet of paper, then now your relationship is promoted by God. Like, if you still think that that's what marriage is, like I've had that conversation enough, and there's no reason for me going down that road, right? So that's still my position. But even saying that, I can still say that relationships, like the reason why man and woman are steadily being pushed apart is because relationships are actually a threat to the way this world is currently working, to the way this world has always worked, right? Now, before I go in, man, let me give credit to my brother Phil, man, because a statement that my brother made in the Power Circle meeting is the thing that sparked the whole reason for this video, right? My brother P. Taylor, he has a YouTube channel. Brother is fire. He's definitely one of the go-tos in the Power Circle. He's one of the ambassadors. His YouTube channel is Alchemistic Goldmine. He just started that. Go over there and give that brother a follow. Watch some of his vids. But we were just talking about, we were coming out of the Kabbalion a few weeks ago, right? And we're just talking about different aspects of Hermetic philosophy, talking about the law of polarity and other laws, right? And Brother Phil, the law of gender came up very quickly. And Brother Phil said the law of gender, it has very little to do with sex or man and woman. The law of gender is primarily based on just two opposites being able to create, right? And I was like, whoa, brother, and he kept on talking. I'm like, bro, like say that again. He said, yeah, the law of gender has very little to do with man and woman. It has more to do with two opposites being able to attract. And brother, at the time, I couldn't really speak on it, but that right there just planted a seed in my mind, man. That statement alone that Brother Phil said, it opened some doors in my brain that sent some messages, to my mind that started a whole chain reaction of thoughts that led to this video, right? So we have to agree, brothers. We have to understand that everything on this planet can't exist without a polar opposite. Everything on this planet can't exist without some kind of male, some kind of masculine, female, masculine, feminine, gender association. And we can look all over this world. We can go as simple as, as far as opposites, we can go as far as North Pole, South Pole, right? We can say East and West. Like West can't exist if East isn't there, right? Right can't be a thing if left doesn't exist. You can look in the nature world, man. You can look at the birds and the bees and all the animals. In every species, man, there's a masculine energy. There's a female representation, right? So this is all over the place. This is common knowledge, right? But of all the species on the world, of all the pieces of polar opposites that we can identify, right? How many of them can we say were created in the image of the all? In other words, how many of them can say, you know what? We were created in the image and likeness of the Creator. Only man and woman can say that, right? Now we've always known that, but I don't think we've really absorbed the power behind it, right? I don't think we've absorbed the power. Because think about this. One thing that sets man and woman apart from everything on this planet is that we have mind, right? Now, when you talk about all the animals, when you talk about the deers that are crossing the road in the middle of the night, they have instinct, but they don't have mind. When you think about the knowledge of the bald eagles and all these very smart animals, they have instinct, but they don't have mind. Again, man and woman are the only two things on this planet that have the ability to tap into the all, that have mind, that have spirit, right? Now, think about this. What happens when you have two polar opposites? Because man and women are polar opposites, on every scale. What happens when you have two polar opposites that have the ability to get on one single frequency? You know what I'm saying? Let me break that down a little different. What happens when you have two opposites that have the ability to think, to be, to feel, to vibrate on the exact same plane? You know what I'm saying? In other words, the North Pole and the South Pole could never say, you know what, let's come together and become our own thing. Because they're they're polar opposites. They don't have the ability to tap into the all and to become whatever, right? So again, what happens when you have two polar opposites that have the ability to tap into the all and can actually get on one accord? Well, the Bible says, where two come together, I am there also, right? Where two come together, I am there also. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? Let's think about this. Let's think about how all things are created on this world, right? We talked about it in the last few videos. We talked about it before. We talked about the law of hypnotic rhythm, which is just the pendulum swinging between two polar opposites. Matter of fact, if you look at the state of relationships today, it's simply because the pendulum is swinging between the masculine and feminine. And we're on two different accords right now. Man is on one side, women on the other side, and we're just living our lives in separate frequencies, right? And that pendulum is swinging. So what we have, the way, the state of us right now is simply the pendulum swinging between both sides, right? But think about if both parties, if both sides, if both polar opposites thought and felt and moved the same way. Think about that, right? Think about a pendulum swinging between two polar opposites with the exact same thought, with the exact same frequency. Do you see the life hack in that? Like, do you really understand the life hack in that? Like when it says, when two come together, I am there also. Brother, that is the hack of all hacks. I'm gonna tell you this, man. We can sit here and talk about semen retention. We can sit here and talk about NoFap and meditation and creating our own worlds as men. And those are facts. Matter of fact, that's almost to the point where we have to be nowadays. But brother, that is not even in comparison. It's apples and oranges when you talk about man creating his own world and manifesting and being his own energy and separating. When you talk about that and comparing that to a man and a woman coming together to create and unite and become one, brother, it's not even close. It's the hack of all hacks. When it says I am there also, brother, it tells you that pretty much you can have heaven on earth. When you take two polar opposites and they think the exact same frequency, and the pendulum can only swing on one energy, brother, that is the hack of all hacks. Now, the crazy thing is, it seems like this whole division between man and woman, it seems like it's a new thing. Like you can get on the tube, right, and you can see red pill content. You can see content about female nature, and you can hear women talking about how men are moving now. And it seems like it's been primarily taking place in our generation. You know, we can even look back at our parents. We can look back and see glimpses of the way our grandparents moved and say, you know what? Okay, well, we see where it started, maybe, right? We can look to those that are coming up behind us, and we can say, you know what? We can see the direction y'all are going, and based on the way we're moving, we can see how y'all are going to move in the future as far as relationships. Like I always say, like there's not going to be marriage, there's not going to be this, like it's going to be a dead thing in the future. And it seems like it's just been within our immediate lifetimes, right? But brothers, when you think about the impact this has on society, on the whole globe, brother, you have to understand that this division has always been there. And the thing is, I don't know what it looked like because I wasn't, living in those times, but I can easily look back at situations like I hear all the time, like after World War II, when a lot of men came back from war and they were broken up, man, their minds were gone. They were injured. They came back and they didn't have any jobs. They said all the women were running all the factories and all the women had all the postal jobs and men were in the unemployment line. Brother, don't you think that changed the dynamic of the way this world worked? Don't you think that changed the true dynamic of how a man and a woman were supposed to come together? Brother, I'm telling you, this thing has always been in place. You can even go back to the Bible. Go back to the Bible. Go back to Adam and Eve. Go back to Adam and Eve, brother. Think about how much of an impact that story we heard growing up our entire lives had on us. When Adam went to God and started whining, talking about, oh God, you sent me this woman and now she got me moving sour, and why'd you know what I'm saying? It automatically caused a separation between man and woman. On a subconscious level, us as men already feel like women are out to get us. Women are out to get us. No one's ever asked like who wrote that story? I'm telling, who wrote that story, man? Don't you understand how much? Think about this. Think about how different the world would be today if that story said Adam and Eve came together and built great worlds and great kingdoms and great civilizations and had many kids that blessed the nations, and that's where we are now. Think about how the world would be right now if just that one line in that story had changed. I'm telling you, brother, it's been the agenda from day one. There was a quote, man, about history and all this stuff, right? It says this. It says history is always written by the winners. When two cultures clash, the loser is obliterated and the winner writes the history books which glorify their own cause and disparage the conquered foe. As Napoleon once said, what is history but a fable agreed upon? Who wrote that thing, man? I'm telling you, brothers, I'm starting to call the whole story is BS in my opinion now. The whole story is BS. And I know a lot of y'all are going to your Bibles now, getting the thumb, getting ready to put some quote in the comment section. But I'm telling you, the whole story of Adam and Eve was an agenda. It's BS, man. It's a hoax. I said it. And I can prove it, brother. I can prove it. Think about this. Going back to the laws of polarity and gender and all this stuff. There's not a single entity on this planet that can avoid the laws that govern this world, right? Am I right? In other words, there are no David Blaine's roaming around the world going against the law of gravity, right? There are no David Blaine's. Everybody is subject to the same law. Everybody is subject to the law of polarity. Everybody is subject to the law of gender. In other words, you can't exist on this planet without a polar opposite. That's the way this world is made. You can't exist. So tell me, how in the cornbread hell? Tell me when the book says, okay, Adam existed and Adam named the animals and Adam mowed the yard and cut the trees down and trimmed the bushes. And God found out that Adam was lonely and said, let me bring him a helpmate. That's impossible. It couldn't have happened like that. How you gonna say that, soul? Because there couldn't have been an Adam if there wasn't an Eve. Like man wouldn't have even been a thing without its polar opposite. That would have been going against the law of the land. That would have been going even in the Hermetic text. It says that, yeah, we can understand that this world is an illusion. We can understand that these things that matter isn't real, that matter is actually empty. It says, but while you're on this plane, you still have to play the game. You are still subject to the laws of the land. I'm telling you, brothers, the whole thing is a hoax. And I know our era, our generation, I understand that right now, man, that the relationship between man and woman, but it's so far screwed right now that it'll be next generation before it even begins to get right. But guys, we have to have an understanding that this whole thing has been an agenda from day one. Think about how powerful we would be, man, as people if we were on one accord, man and woman. Because think about what we're really saying. When a man is saying that, oh, man, women are jacked up and, man, that you got to stay away from them. And when women are saying the exact same thing, what we're really saying is that, you know what? The creator, the entity that made us dropped the ball. He screwed up. Like men and women, like we don't even go together. Like what was the creator thinking about? That's really what we're saying, is that the creator messed up. But think about what a world would be like, brother, if both polar opposites, man and woman, were on one accord, right? I can tell you this, man. I can tell you when I spent time in Cairo, when I spent time in Giza at the pyramids, when I went to King Tut's tomb, I'm telling you, brothers, the stuff that we learned in the West about what took place over there, like we're only getting 1% of the things that took place over there. And the 1% that we're getting is skewed. The 1% of information we're getting about the things that took place in Kemet are skewed, man. When I got to learning about how King Tut, because King Tut was just a teenager. You know, we think King Tut was an old man. King Tut died as a teenager. He was married. When I started hearing about how him and his wife moved, when I started looking at the things he created and how he moved and his practices and his relationship and how he created great, but I started to slowly understand that, man, there's something we're missing. When you think about how the pyramids were built, when you think about all these great things that we just can't explain in this world, I'm telling you, man, when two polar opposites come together that have mind, God is there also. God is there also. What does that mean? What does that really mean? You have to understand that God, what we call God, the all, the source, whatever you want to call it, like that is the only thing in existence. That is the only thing in existence that can defy the laws of this world, right? Like man and woman alone can't defy gravity. We can't defy the law of polarity. We can't defy none of this stuff. Only the source can, because the source consists of all things, right? So when it says when two come together, two polar opposites, and get on one frequency, brother, that's a life hack. That's a life hack, man. Like you can't even look around society now and see that. Even what we're calling healthy relationships today aren't people on one accord. I've been in loving relationships, man, and had solid, situations where we were still at odds. Most relationships today, man, or even most good relationships are a man and a woman loving each other, but sometimes they're competing with each other. A lot of relationships are competing with each other, man. There are probably very few relationships where two people are actually on one accord. And I'm telling you, brother, it's systematic, man. It's been planted in us. It's been planted in us, man. It's almost like, even going back to the whole creation, saying that Adam was here and roamed the world and did all these things, and now Eve is coming as his helpmate. Yes, I believe that a woman is the helpmate. Yes, I believe that man is still the hierarchy is still the hierarchy. I mean, somebody got a quarterback. Somebody got a quarterback. But when you think about it, man, when you think about it, and I know a lot of y'all misogynist brothers gonna get mad at me saying this. When you think about it, as far as ability, as far as power on a spiritual level, because that's what we are, man and woman are the same. And to be honest, if you don't understand that man and woman are the same on a spiritual level, and you can come together and create worlds, brother, I'm telling you, you missing the bus. I'm telling you, you've purchased the ticket that society has given you, right? So in a nutshell, brother, all I'm saying is this. You know, when you go out and try to find your mates, you know, when you're looking for, or when you're accepting applications, rather, of women trying to come into your world, brothers, we have to start bypassing the big booties, man. We have to start bypassing, you know, the long lashes and the nails and the toes did and the tight dresses. I like them too. I love them. But brothers, we have to start thinking as gods. We have to start thinking as spirit. We have to start thinking as fifth dimensional beings, man. I'm telling you, man, if you want to experience this life, and I'm not saying brothers can't move solo. Come on now, you know I ain't saying that. But if you're going to experience a relationship, brother, then you might as well experience the highest of the highs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, brothers, brothers and sisters, man, at some point in time, we're going to have to come to the understanding that this whole thing is a system. We got to come to the conclusion that, you know, we got to understand that it's not even brand new. It's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? We have to become as, like I said, become as little children and learn this whole thing over again. I'm telling you, brothers, relationships are a threat to society.